Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Actually, it's Becky Brown, and we are on Valentine's Day Eve. Happy February 13th. We're all so glad that you are here. I am joined with Dr. Alice Benton and Dr. Sheri Keffer. Hello.
Hey, good to be on with you guys. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, it's so exciting. Day before.
It's the
yes, you know.
We're all, hopefully everybody's bought their cards, right?
Well, I hope so.
I mean, think about it.
If not, here's your warning. Go to the store, get something.
Go get it today, so you're not having to stand in the grocery line tomorrow and pick over 10 cards that are left. You know?
Well, and you know what? What would be a really good Valentine's Day is to surprise your loved one with a trip down the Rhine River. Ooh. You could go with New Life in October. You could do it, buy it now and just surprise that person that is so special in your life. And we are going to be cruising from Amsterdam to Basel, Switzerland. And Mylan and Kay Yurkovich will be with us, and Steve Arterburn. They'll be sharing. And it's always so fun to go on an adventure with New Life Ministries. And we love the opportunity to connect. And there are a few cabins left. The ship will all be just New Life. It won't be anybody else. So that's pretty exciting, too. You can find out the information at newlife.com, or you can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Becky, I told Steve and Mylan, I was with them the other day, no matter how many of their books I've read, how much I listen to them, every time I'm with them, my life is enriched and I learned something new. Every time I get to go to a New Life weekend and work at it, I bring something back home that betters my life. So if you're considering going on this cruise, but maybe you think, I don't know, I listen to New Life all the time. Am I going to learn anything new there? Yes, you will. God will reveal something different to you. He'll draw you deeper into the healing process. It's inevitable.
Well, and you know what happens too, Becky, from the times I've been on these trips is you have these amazing personal conversations with us and stuff that you may not only learn, which is great material, but then you get to ask questions of us. We get to hear your story, and it's lovely. It's really awesome.
It's so amazing, the opportunities that we have to walk the world together. And so we're so excited. So give us a call and find out more about it. The other thing I want to bring up is life recovery. You hear us talk about recovery all the time, and life recovery and all of the resources that we have, everything from the Life Recovery Bible to the new workbooks that we have on grief and divorce and sexual integrity, as well as eating disorders. Life recovery is for all of us because we all have something that we are recovering from. And just like you were saying, Alice, how we learn all the time from what Steve or Mylan were talking about. But in this case, it's Steve and Dave. And, Dave Stoop is just a godly, wise man who has provided so many great insights through the recovery movement and through the recovery materials that we have. But here's the cool thing. We have life recovery groups across the country that we can get you connected to, and you can begin your own journey of life recovery. And I can't say it enough that, we just need to be in some sort of a life recovery process and doing our work. And sometimes it's professional, sometimes it's group work. But there's life that we have to live, and we got to discover it sometimes. And Alice, you look like you got something on your mind.
If you think, I'm not in crisis, I don't need that right now. Crisis always comes in life eventually. And so to make the move now to get in group and in community and to lay that foundation of deep healing friendship will make a world of difference when the next crisis does come. So don't wait for that to happen. Act now, call now. Let us connect you now.
Agree. And just begin the work. Connection is what we're all about here at New Life. And I think so many times we think, oh, hey, we're connected. We're, on all the social media and all that. No, you got to get real eyeball to eyeball. But we'll help you with that.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met. connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Sheri Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Southern California February 28th to March the 1st. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are so glad you are with us and are going to take your calls. You can call us at 1-800-229-3000. Right now we're going to talk to Barbara. And Barbara has an interesting question. She's calling us from Washington, D.C., and she listens online at newlife.com. We're glad you're with us, Barbara. How can we help you today?
Hello. Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call. Hi. I'm calling about my friend. It's a good friend of mine, and she's having problem dating because she's 32, and she's having problem dating because she has those venereal disease like herpes and HPV, and she doesn't want to date anyone because she's so ashamed. She feels so ashamed, about those conditions, and she feels she doesn't want to display that information to anyone. And I feel bad for her because she's so young. She needs to get married and have children.
Well, Barbara, it is unfortunate that she's dealing with these diseases, but to your point that she needs to get married, I don't know if that's really
no. But she wants to get married at some point in her life, but she doesn't. She feels like she how can I say? She doesn't want to display that information, and I'm saying, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say to her. What should I say to her? What should I say to her?
Well, let's see what Alice and Sheri have to offer. I got a few thoughts on this. What do you guys think?
Well, when we're dealing with shame, the thing that exacerbates it is being isolated and secretive, and it makes the shame worse. So the antidote to shame is being in relationship with someone like a good friend like you who loves her through it, but will also bring tough truth at times. Because if she's in dating relationships, hoping for marriage, hoping for a more serious relationship down the road, it does, of course, need to be revealed at some point. But when she reveals it is up for discussion. And maybe if she's been revealing it too quickly in a dating relationship, it can cut off her chances of the relationship going further. But it certainly is a difficult truth that needs to be laid out on the table so that the people she's dating can know the entire package if they're going to go farther along with her.
And I totally.
She should display.
Well, I'm sorry?
She should display that information. She should reveal her information right away.
So let me speak from a really personal place. And y'all know my dating life. I actually did it through New Life. I met my husband Kyle after I read, Steve's book and. Is This the One? And Finding a Date Worth Keeping by Henry Cloud. So that's the good news. The bad news is somewhere along the way, I needed to tell Kyle, my husband now, but at that point I was just dating him. I needed to let him know that I also have HPV. And I got it when I was married to my first husband. Now, first things first, if somebody has an STD, I guarantee you this friend of yours didn't know, somebody didn't consent with her whenever she had sex, she picked it up from somebody else, and there was, I'm sure, non-consenting. Because let's just say somebody came to her and said, hey, I just want you to know I have a sexually transmitted disease and I want to have sex with you. Now, that's a decision we get to make. So somehow she got it, and it breaks my heart. I wasn't consenting either. I didn't know that my husband was acting out with other people. But I'm the one now that has to manage that STD, and I also had to be responsible to tell. And I can tell you, Barbara, that moment when I was sitting there and I chose, and I didn't tell Kyle this at date 1, date 2, date 3. In fact, I didn't tell him until we had been dating for several months. The reason I wasn't sexually active with him, so I had time because I wasn't having sex to find out if this is a guy that I'm very serious about. But once we began to talk about permanency, I can tell you where I was sitting and how scared I was when I chose to disclose my STD and my sexual history to him. Now, I was 100% sure in that very moment that he would not want to date me anymore. It was the hardest conversation I had to have. But I'll tell you something. When he knew that, so I didn't want to have any secrets in our marriage. When he knew that, and he still chose me, he married me, even with that information. So that gave me the freedom to actually talk about it in my book. I've now, people that read my book, I told Kyle, I go, I'm going to talk about my HPV because I want women to take care of their bodies. We have to. He's like, you're going to tell in your book you have HPV? I go, yes. Now I don't have shame about it because I've come out of the dark. Like you said, Alice, I've made it public. It's not something I'm proud of. I still have to get checked for it. But it's a very honest thing that she is going to have to at some point reveal. But I wouldn't say don't reveal it right away. But if you're going to have sex, yes, you've got to give somebody the right to consent.
Well, and I would encourage you, Barbara, as you support your friend, is you would encourage her to do like what Sheri and Alice have talked about. It's not the first conversation you have because, first of all, you don't even know, like you can't go into the dating process thinking the first guy is the guy. Like, you can't go in with that, right? Sheri, you learned that from the process,
I dated 24 men. Kyle was number 8, but by the time I had that conversation, I was very sure we were moving. I mean, I was hopeful. I wasn't sure.
Well, but see, and then that's why I'm saying there's 2 different conversations. Yes, there is that disclosure, but it's in a safe and trusting relationship. Yeah. Not in just trying to get somebody. Go ahead, Barbara.
Yeah. No. And I told her that. To reveal that person you live with, it's something that you on the line you will do it, but not right away. But she's
exactly
on a dating page, with people with the same condition. I don't know if that's you know how millennials are now. But,
but have her listen to this show. I mean, I couldn't have been more honest with this friend right now. I couldn't have been. Well, have her listen online.
Yeah.
Millennials listen online to us all the time. Right? They don't listen to the radio, but yeah.
Well, and I would encourage you, Barbara, I would encourage you to help her to slow down. Like, yes, she's looking to be married. She's looking to be connected with somebody. But if that becomes the goal, then sometimes you kind of throw caution to the wind and you don't look at what you're really getting into. And so to slow down a little bit, I think if we could send her How to Get a Date Worth Keeping, that might be a helpful choice because it kind of outlines that. Honesty is a great policy. And in matters like this, like you said, Sheri, it's just a sensitive subject that you just don't trust to anybody. You are selective. You use wisdom in that. Thanks for calling, Barbara, and thanks for being a good friend. We're going to talk to Gay, who's talking, he's calling us from Washington, D.C., listens to WAVA. Gay, how are you today, and how can we help you?
Hi there. How are you? I'm actually
well.
calling. I heard the phone call with Brittany in the last show. whose child had died. You were talking about foster care, and it just prompted me to call in. My son died 4.5 years ago. Tragically, suddenly, he was hit by a car, and he was 19.
Wow.
And I've done a ton of work. Thank you. I appreciate your
so heartbreaking.
It is, and I've come a long way. And I call it going dark. When I get really depressed, I have sort of episodes where I can't escape the reality. As in I can't use my toolbox to sort of get through a day. If I go dark, I go back to where I was not long after he died, where I felt like it was my fault. I felt like, I felt like, almost like God had taken him because I was a bad mom or, something along those lines. He was addicted to video gaming, not a lot, but like a 19-year-old boy usually is. And I got really scared, and it's the one area that we disagreed on. And so he was hit by the car fairly early as he was headed to class at his university. And I, was just like, he was staying up late. He was, playing video games. He was, and it was my fault because I could never talk him out of it. He was, I guess maybe it doesn't even matter if I say, he was so successful. He was, a high achieving kid. He was involved in so many things, well-rounded, yada, 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 because I know this isn't logical.
Well, you're talking, Gay, about just the gravity of loss, of just trying to kind of manage what happened.
Yes. And so, like I said, I've done a lot of work. I have had some therapy. When I get in those places, I've wondered about EMDR. We weren't there when he was hit, and we weren't there. He died within 4 hours. And so I know there's trauma. I mean, I know I have PTSD on some level. But that's sort of my question is that seems to be the one lingering area that I really struggle with. And it's not like I expect it to go away completely, but it's almost like I have these negative core beliefs, and, it had a lot to do with how I felt about God. It was about my perceptions of God as well, and that's what I've been working on.
Well, and you've called on the right day, Gay, because Sheri can speak to EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Sheri, what would you share with Gay in order to encourage her about this?
First of all, we're so sorry about your loss and the suddenness of it. And you're absolutely right. That is a trauma event. And so this is exactly, you're a smarty pants, Gay. I love how brilliant you are. You're really bright, and it's amazing that you can connect the dots to God in this, because I think you did have a spiritual trauma. I think coupled with your relationship trauma, you had a spiritual trauma, and that is not uncommon when bad things like this happen, because we didn't see it coming. And it's kind of weird how the brain works, but the brain wires in, at that moment when you found out, it wires in a negative belief about yourself, along with some emotions that are, like, for you it's sadness, but this is the negative belief I'm hearing. And it's tied to your spiritual, your belief in your faith trauma. It's this: I'm a bad mom. I'm a bad mom. I should have done something. Really, it has to do, because you're going back and you're trying to make sense. Do you know that trauma isn't logical? Trauma isn't logical. It is emotional. And so finding out what that lie is that your brain has decided to wire in order to help you avoid not letting anything like this happen again. It doesn't make sense. Right. But once you find that belief that I'm a bad mom, God, you did it because I wasn't good enough. I wasn't a good enough mom. I think you could go in for some sessions with someone who's certified. They know what they're doing, either a consultant or certified, and I think you could hit this target and you could be helped, because somebody has to get you to a place where you believe this. You know what? I'm a good mom. I did the best I could. And
we have so many great therapists. Oh, hold on, Gay. We're going to go to a break, but I want you to know we have therapists in your area that are EMDR certified that can help you walk through this. And that's an important part of that, that decision making, that, you have somebody who's been trained and who knows how to do this, not just, saw something somewhere and tried to figure it out, especially when you're dealing with the loss of a child.
And you've been stuck for 4 years, right? That's a long time.
Yeah. So we're so glad you called, Gay, and I think, we'll get you connected with somebody in your area and can help you move on.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. I just want to just touch base on something that Sheri said. She said trauma is not logical. And oh my gosh, it is the truth. And the interesting thing, I was going to say, the funny thing is we've all experienced trauma and we try to make sense out of the trauma. And then we become more traumatized because we're trying to make sense out of something that will not ever make sense. And I've always said, when we get to the place where we're asking why, I always say, is there really a good explanation for some of the stuff we've dealt with that we're going to go, oh, okay, it's great. No, it doesn't work that way. It's literally trying to settle down and accept the things that were unacceptable and to release them so that we can move on in our lives. And I just appreciate all the work that you do on that, Sheri.
And Becky, I was thinking as Gabe was talking to that we are up against the great accuser, our enemy, who loves to keep us in condemnation when Christ freed us from that. So to also enter into the spiritual warfare against, I do not align myself with that condemnation and that self-accusation. God doesn't give me that spirit. We need to say that out loud and to continue to return and stand on that truth when the enemy attacks us.
It's so true. And we were talking about that in devotions the other day at work. And we were talking about the fact that God loves us so much, but it's really hard for us to really take that in. And then just like what you're saying, Alice, that when the accuser tells us we're not good enough, and boy, if you're a parent for any amount of time, you already are just, it's like, how am I ever going to get these children alive and out of the house? It'll be a miracle. And then when you have a devastating loss like this, then you question over and over again. And I'm just praying for Gay, and I hope the audience will as well, for her to find that freedom and to know that God loves her, and he's going to provide that healing for her.
And let me give a shout out for Finding Freedom Workshop, because that would be a really good thing for her to consider as well. Okay, I just had to say that.
No,
as you said,
right.
freedom.
You are right, Sheri, because it is a place where you can really focus on that. Right now, we're going to focus on Troy, who's calling us from the great Sunshine State of Florida, and he listens to WEGS. And thanks so much for calling, Troy. How can we help you today?
Yes, I have a question about how to deal with the situation with my wife. I make a decent income, but it's not enough to really keep us afloat. I really struggle to pay for all the expenses and take care of everything. We've got 4 kids together, and so it's tough. But here's the kicker: is my wife has a portfolio that she was given to her from her dad. And he passed away when she was 15, and it's 25 years ago, and she absolutely refuses to use it or to make me a part of it. And I've begged her to make me a part of it so that we could pay the bills and take care of everything, but she doesn't budge.
And how many conversations, Troy, have you guys had about this?
I can't count how many we've.
Right.
It's been an issue for a couple years now. Things have gotten really bad to the point where we were being told we're going to get evicted because we couldn't come up with the rent. The power's been turned off. I've had to borrow money, get it turned back on, and we've gotten into a conversation. Hey, I've told her, I don't want to be a part of it. Don't put my name on it. You can keep it. It's all yours. Just take money out of it and help me pay the bills.
What does she tell you, Troy? What does she tell you is the reason for not accessing that income?
2 main things. One is that it's something that's very intimate to her because it's her dad, or something he left to her, and she lost him suddenly. He passed away of a heart attack when she was 15. So it's very intimate to her. The other thing is she says that he always told her that savings and what you put away in savings is not to be used for bills. It should be used for college education, vacations, stuff like that, but it shouldn't go towards bills. And so that's been a very big argument, is me trying to convince her that it's okay to use it to pay the bills. We just need to, stay on a budget and be responsible, not go hog wild with it, but just use a little bit of it to pay the rent, and she will not budge.
Troy, is there any history of
portfolio? She won't.
Troy, is there a history of broken trust with your wife, whether it's on your part or did somebody else really deeply break her trust?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I believe so. Her past marriage, I think there's some serious trust issues there, but it seems like there's some sort of pattern with I don't want to say she's lying, but I do feel sometimes I struggle with maybe she is making it all up, and she doesn't actually have a portfolio.
Well, okay, so here's the question. First of all, I want to know, Troy, how long have you guys been married?
4 years.
Okay, and did you know about this before you were married?
She mentioned it a couple months into dating that her dad had left her some money, and I didn't really dig deep on it. I just, okay, that's interesting, but I didn't make a big deal out of it.
Okay.
Troy, would you trust me?
Got married.
Would you trust me for a second? Can I just speak maybe for her? And this is what I think she wants to tell you, but maybe she hasn't. Is Troy, I'm really scared. We've been together for 4 years, and I came from some real hurt in my first marriage. And more than anything in my life right now, I want to know that you can financially support us. And I'm not feeling that. And so because I don't see that happening, I'm scared out of my mind to release this nest egg to you because I'm afraid it's going to go away. We'll talk more.
Well, and we'll come back.
My wife had found me out through my past and my sexual addiction since I was a small child. It really gave me the opportunity to start digging into my past, start digging into my childhood, figure out what was causing me to feel the way I was feeling. Every Man's Battle will really give you that opportunity because all the guys there in that room are there for the exact same reason you're there. I don't want to be the reason that my kids are going to counseling. I don't want to be the reason that they begin to struggle with the same issues that I'm struggling with, and I've got to put an end to this. Yes, you can be different. God does love you. You can be forgiven for this, and there's a way out of this. But you have to acknowledge that you have to change, and that there's a problem.
If you're struggling, call us. There are people on the other end of the line who want to hear from you, who want to help you. We don't want you to hand down something to another generation that just looks like pain and destruction. You can hand down redemption, but you got to take that first step. Just give us a call. It's 1-800-639-5433. It's 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay in the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you a set of 4 devotionals, 100 Days of Character, Peace, Prayer, and the newly released 100 Days of Healing. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are talking to Troy, and he and his wife are having some challenges over finances, and I would also say who doesn't, but it's something that you got to figure out. Sheri was sharing with you, Troy, before the break, and I think she has a couple more things she wants to say. Go ahead.
And hey, okay. Troy, we are for you. Just know, because it's hard, and whenever it's hard like this, we're looking for a path out. But Becky mentioned something, and I don't, we don't even know you and all the details around what's going on. But there's a serious leak in the boat, right, financially. And sometimes when that's happening, we can go into wishful thinking, right, to try to figure out what is the quickest way to get through this. And let me give you another word for wishful thinking. Wishful thinking could be fantasy. If she could just give me the money, we'd be okay. Wishful thinking could be denial. Like I am not willing to look at what is going on with this leak in the boat, which the opposite of denial is reality. Reality is I got to look straight in the face of the problem, and then I've got to take steps to deal with it. And so I'm wondering if there isn't some denial that's going on in you that is causing you to go into wishful thinking, and really y'all need to get into reality over what is going on.
Denial about our financial situation or how I'm approaching.
Well, so here's what I would ask you, Troy, is, okay, if your wife didn't have the portfolio, what would be the issue financially in your relationship? So take that off the table completely. What is going on?
It would be not being on the same page and being on a budget, because I've told her, look, be patient. You need to go through counseling and work on all that, and you just keep that portfolio to yourself. I'll take care of everything.
No, stop. Time out.
We got to be on a budget.
Time out. We're not talking about that portfolio. What I'm saying, so one of the things that we talk about in recovery is that we don't have any control outside of ourselves. We got to work on our stuff. So we're looking at your side of the boat, to use Sheri's analogy. So don't even think about the portfolio. I want you to think about just the financial situation, because finances are like a language. Money is a tool, but it represents so many things in our lives. And I know in this culture that we live in, we're all about all the stuff, but it sounds like it's been pretty difficult for you guys, where the electric has been shut off, and then you've been, threatened with eviction. It sounds like you guys you really haven't structured your financial life in a trustworthy, connected way. So when I ask you about, what is it that you feel like you could do differently, Troy, because that's where your power is going to be. You keep going towards the portfolio, and if only she would do that, then everything would be fixed. But, I know a lot of lottery winners that are bankrupt now because they thought if they just won that $1 million, everything would be fixed. Yeah. So what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that there are things that you need to address for the financial health of your life together, or what do you think about that?
I agree. I think I need to be on the same page. We need to be on the same page when it comes to a budget. And I've tried to implement a few things, and there's a lot of kickback from her, like cutting out cable. No, I don't want to do that. I can't go without that. Okay, well, then we don't need to spend this much in this area or this much in that. No, I don't want to do that. And so I feel stuck. I feel like I'm trying to come up with a solution and figure out how to get us to a better place, but she doesn't want to budge on almost everything. And that's a difficult place to be in.
So when the lights are being turned off and the eviction notices are coming, guess what happens? All hands on deck. I had a period of my life. Well, no. Hear me out here for a second. I get it. I had a period of my life as a single person when I lost my job, and I almost lost my house. And I had this 401k. And this is what I said, and you're not going to like this, but I said, I am not going to spend that 401k. I'm going to sell my house before I have to do that. Now, you have 4 kids, but you know what I did at that moment? I got online and I went to Dave Ramsey workshop, and I went into 10 or 12 weeks of being Dave Ramsey-eyed, right? Because I had to figure out my finances because my life depended on it. Mm-hmm. Y'all need to go there. Y'all need to humble down and go there, right? And figure out what is happening.
And I would encourage you, Troy, I do agree with what you're saying, Sheri. I also think that there's a relationship issue at hand here.
Sure.
You're not able to have the conversations just about your life together. And in marriage, there's a bunch of negotiations that are going on all the time about how we're going to spend our money, how we're going to spend our time, how we're going to connect with each other. And it doesn't sound like you guys are on the same page with that. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah. And that's probably the most frustrating part.
So Troy, I'm going to give you some wording to try to use with your wife. And first I want to acknowledge, I think you have a lot of righteous anger, and any spouse in your situation would be angry that why can't we use this money to help stabilize our family? Or why won't you turn off the cable when we're going to get evicted from our home? Those are big issues, and it's very concerning that your wife won't come alongside you in some of those ways. I'd be frightened and angry if I were you as a spouse. But I wonder if your approach has been backing her into a corner, and so she's in defense mode and protective of the nest egg that she has. So one of God's principles can really help lower those kind of defenses. And this comes from Matthew 7, where it tells us get that beam out of our own eye before going after the speck in somebody else's. She has specks. She definitely has specks in her eye. But as Becky's been pointing out, your power lies in acknowledging how you have fallen short. And perhaps it's even just been in some of the accusations or the ways you keep bringing up the portfolio that you're not willing to accept her decision about it. You don't have to like it, but I think you have to accept it if you're going to come to any marital harmony in the rest of these areas. So after this call, I want you to go to her and acknowledge, hey, I got some advice, and I think I've realized I've been pushing way too hard on this portfolio, and I think it's probably scared you, and you probably can't trust me right now. And I'm going to do some things differently to improve myself, and I hope you'll come alongside with me. I am going to go to a Dave Ramsey course, and I think we could use some couples counseling too. I know I need to change. I'm going to make the appointment. Will you please come with me? Because I want to become a better man, a better husband, a better father. I need to make changes.
And we're living above our means. right? And so as the captain of the boat, if she's kind of holding you hostage to not make any changes, you guys need to throw some of the extra stuff over into the water right now just so you don't sink. You've got to figure out how to have those conversations. Maybe you kind of roll over when she gets mad, or you feel like she's so stuck, you just kind of throw your hands up, and then you end up sinking. So, yeah.
Well, and I want to address, Troy, you said you think she has trust issues. I guarantee she has trust issues if her dad dropped dead when she was 15 years old. And a lot of what you're experiencing with her could be coming from her 15-year-old brain where that trauma got stuck, and it's, if you've ever had to reason with a 15-year-old, if you ever had to rationalize with a 15-year-old, it's kind of hard. Not that she is, but I'm just saying.
Well, a 15-year-old that believes I'm not in control. So now I'm going to be very controlling, and it doesn't make for good collaboration.
Right. So Troy,
I understand.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I understand how the trauma of that could have certainly had an impact on her, and it does affect her thinking today. And I've tried really hard to figure out how to be patient and encouraging and uplifting and take care of everything I need to take care of as far as paying the bills and keeping us afloat. And that was my main question, is like, what else can I do to establish a better communication line with her and strengthen that relationship and to help her, or like you said, I need to just focus on myself, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to do that.
Here's what I want to offer you too, Troy, is just what Alice said. You go to her with what Alice was presenting. The other part of it is that you are committed to her. That you represent the connection, the strength that she has been missing, and to forge ahead a marital bond that's strong, that can withstand any challenges, financial or otherwise, that you guys have. And one of the things that I would recommend would be for you to join us at our Intimacy and Marriage Workshop there in Washington, D.C. in July. The one that we're doing tomorrow or this weekend is sold out. So you want to get there ahead of time. And we offer scholarships. So, you can look at that as well. But, I tell you, marriage is hard. And, we want to help you. Let's send him How We Love. I love the Comfort Circle practice in there that could give Troy and his wife just a structure to have some really difficult conversations so that we don't keep tripping up over the same thing over and over again. And you've only been married 4 years. Now's the time to kind of restructure that track so that, we were using the boat as an analogy. What would it be? Reset the sail. And so that we can,
nice.
we can go forward. Well, every once in a while we figure that out. Give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-639-5433 for that resource and many other resources. We want to help you have a life that God intended for you to have. And when you find that you're stuck in the same rut, we can help you get movement. Give us a call.
She said, we need to talk. She's asked me for the first time if I would consider myself a sex addict. I thought it was just about admitting the things that I had done wrong. I never had a clue that it was about redeeming our story. I thought it was just about coming clean on what I had done. I had no idea how to help her with her pain. She was a mess, I was a mess, and we got divorced. Going to EMB, surrounding myself with these other men, they accepted me for who I was and what I had done, but they challenged me to step up and do better. They'll be around other men who are not just pointing the finger, but willing to get in and wade through it with them, get in the trenches. They'll get hope from this workshop. Take my sweet wife and my story. We were divorced, remarried, and on our way to what I think will be the sweetest years of our lives. It's no longer simply about surviving. For the first time ever, we're thriving, we're enjoying where we're at.
Hey, listen, if you're struggling, we want to see you at the workshop. Give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are so glad you're here and so thankful that you're listening. I just don't want you to ever think that we are not mindful of all the faces, all the ears that are listening to New Life Live every day. And we want you to share that with others. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually see the program. But share the news with others. We have a free app that you can download and listen to the program anytime, as well as if you're part of our Club New Life family, you can see the Club New Life library of videos there, as well as tips and resources. So we have many ways to keep in touch with you because we want to encourage you to live the life that God has created for you to live. And speaking of God, the president of New Life is in the building. Not that Larry is God or anything, but he does sign the paychecks. Hi, Larry.
Oh gosh, hi, Becky.
We're glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad
you are
to be
the
here.
captain of our boat. Seriously,
yes,
you have to keep
we're on
us
the nautical
afloat.
theme.
Yeah, no, you are.
Okay, thank you.
What's happening?
Well, Restore is coming up in 2 weeks. And
yes.
for some reason, that is a very difficult workshop for women to realize they need to go there to get the help. And I wanted to read something from a recent workshop. Lady says, "This is a powerful experience for me. I came with the idea that my only solution was to get a divorce. I was pretty much done with my marriage, but just to hear other people's stories changed my perspective of marriage. I'm so damaged that I just didn't want to expose myself to the possibility of going through the same thing again. If I choose to stay in my marriage, it's going to be hard, but I'm surrendering everything to God. My pain, my anger, my husband's addiction, my idea of getting a divorce. I think that is worth trying to save my marriage for my family." And I just wanted to encourage ladies, this is a lady that walked in thinking it's divorce, that's where I'm headed. And I don't know what she was looking for when she was there, but she was just looking, I think, to be affirmed that that's where she needed to go. And things changed. And that's what happens so often when people intersect their lives with New Life.
Sometimes I think the women are looking for hope and hearing the stories. And, as that therapist and Sheri shares her story, you cannot not go away without some hope, whether you stay in your marriage or not. But it sounds like she found that. And that's worth everything. Oftentimes we as betrayed partners want to point to him, the one who betrayed us, and say, "You go get fixed, get it done." But we don't realize that we've been impacted by the trauma, and so we need to be on our own journey, and we need to get the help for ourselves.
And I love that she had the realization that if she chooses to stay in her marriage, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
And too often we want the easy button, but hard is worth it sometimes. But folks, I read these because I'm asking for your support. If we can't pay for all our workshops just with registration fees, it takes more than that. And we have a lot of other things that have to be paid for. But the reason we do it is so people can get that change of heart, change of mind, start seeing things through a new lens, and see that there is another way and that it's good. So would you please send a check? Would you please call and give them a credit card number? Would you please call and join Club New Life? Help us however you can. We need your help.
I appreciate that, Larry. The other day I was talking to one of our Club New Life members, and she was saying how her financial gift is so small in comparison to what she feels like New Life has provided for her. But, that's how we feel, that we're just providing a way, and we appreciate so much all of those who are part of Club New Life and our donors that that give faithfully so that we can continue to offer hope and help to so many people, whether they are engaging with us or just listening on a radio program like today. You never know how God's word will go out, but we know that it doesn't go out void, and we're so thankful to be part of that. So, and let's get back to the calls, can we?
Last thing real quick. Thank you, everybody who has been supporting us. Appreciate it.
And of course, when you make a gift in February, we're going to say thanks by sending you the 20th anniversary edition of Every Man's Battle, a gift of any amount. So you can give us a call, 800-NEW-LIFE, 800-639-5433. Let's see, we're going to go to Dottie, who is listening in Dallas and watches us on our YouTube channel. Hi, Dottie, how are you today?
Well, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for making this available to everyone.
Well, actually, our listeners do that, Dottie. That's what we were just talking about. Everybody that gives makes this available, so we're happy to be part of that.
Okay. Well,
how can we help you today?
I guess I'm a divorce survivor. What do you call it? An attorney recently told me that my divorce was like walking through fire. So, anyways, basically, my ex wanted to trap me in our relationship, and he's like a financial abuser and a sex addict, and he's a gaslighter. Anyways, my ex ended up buying all of my attorneys in my divorce, and I just couldn't understand what was going on. But they basically were not representing me. He also got a psychiatrist to submit a report to the court that said that I was the one that wanted the report, and he said I was the crazy, dangerous spouse. But my issue is this. My ex built himself a new house, and he's bought our youngest daughter, who's a senior in high school, a new car. And he's convinced her that she doesn't want to live with me. And so she's moved in with him. And so he has her, I guess she's afraid that she's going to end up homeless. That's what she said. That's what she had told me. Anyways, and then...
so what's your question, Dottie, for us?
One of my biggest things is that I realized toward the end of our marriage that my ex likes to see me in pain. And so I guess I have fear for my youngest daughter, and I don't know how to get her to listen to me.
Okay. All right. Alice or Sheri, where do you want to start?
Well, you know what? I'm so sorry. I know we just have like another minute, so I'm going to give you a shout out to get today. We'll send it to you, Leslie Vernick's book, The Emotionally Destructive Marriage. And I know this is your ex, but I hear some very strategic steps he's making to help make himself look better and you look worse. And so you have got to build your core. You have got to stay connected to your daughter so that she can know who you are. She might not figure it out right now, but eventually she will. You've got to be loving and continue to represent yourself as a woman of faith, a woman of character. Anything, Alice, as before we close?
You need to be in spiritual battle as well. There's just so much evil that has gone on, and of course your fear is reality based, that your daughter's being pulled over to your husband's side against you. I just hate to see this happen. I want you to get a prayer team of folks who will commit to pray for your daughter's safety, to pray for a change of heart for your husband, and for you to have the strength to persevere. I think one of the worst mistakes parents make is they give up thinking, I'm powerless in this situation. I can't do anything. I'm rejected, so I might as well stop. Do not stop pursuing your daughter's heart.
Right. And I would encourage you, Dottie, to continue, like what Sheri's saying, do your own healing. It's very easy in times of crisis, because this is a crisis point, to kind of revisit the crisis over and over again. You need to get strong and move forward, because you're not going to be in this crisis forever. We're going to send you a copy of Leslie's book, and also I would encourage you to go to Restore in a couple of weeks. We've got scholarship available, but I think that could be a good beginning for you to keep going forward. Thanks for listening, everybody. God bless.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.